Right, Aquaman then. I believe I mentioned in passing during some podcast passing my thoughts on the trailer for Aquaman, and for once that trailer proved to be quite representative of the tone and general quality of the final product. So the very short form of this review is go watch the trailer and judge for yourselves. But I'm not being paid the big bucks to shirk my duties. I'm not being paid at all, more fool me. Anyway, the latest of the quote-unquote troubled DC Universe films to appear centres on Jason Momoa's Aquaman, or Arthur Curry, which splits its duties between action outing and origin story, although perhaps less origin story than assuming the mantle story.
Sorry, did you say Arthur Curry?
That's his name, I believe.
Is that genuinely his name?
You know what? I didn't actually check it, and now you've planted a seed of doubt in my mind so strong.
Shit.
I need to.
I've accepted the idea that you might have been wrong about Arthur Curry.
No, I'm correct. Yes.
It sounds like a name from a character in Coronation Street or something.
I was going to say, or like Only Fools and Horses or something.
Arthur Curry, what are you doing? No, it is Arthur Curry.
Aquaman bought a load of dodgy toys from a guy down the market called Arthur Curry. Yeah, Arthur. Wow.
Sure, some attention is paid to what happens when a lighthouse keeper, Tamura Morrison, and Nicole Kidman's exiled Atlantean queen Atlana are very much in love and do a special cuddle, and how a young Arthur is trained by Willem Dafoe's Atlantean majordomo Vulko on the quiet to harness his powers. But for the most part, we're joining Arthur after all that Justice League unpleasantness, with him still wanting nothing to do with the undersea world. However, the undersea world has decided that it wants a piece of us, in particular Aquaman's half-brother and ruler of one of the powerful undersea kingdoms, Orm, played by Patrick Wilson. He's underhandedly setting about uniting the clans against a perceived common enemy, us landlubbers, and Vulko and Amber Heard's Mira, princess of something or other, come to the conclusion that the only way to stop this is to have a highly reluctant Arthur challenge his half-brother for leadership. As part of that, he'll need to be recognised as the rightful ruler after his long absence, and half-breed status are counted against him, so he'll have to seek out authority by reclaiming legendary Atlan's trident from the bosom of the water, which, if you ask me, is no basis for a system of government. Supreme executive power derives from a mandate from the masses, not from some farcical aquatic ceremony. Out to stop him are Orm's goon squads and Black Manta, played by Yahya Abdul Mateen II, a human mercenary / pirate powered with Atlantean technology holding a grudge against Arthur. Now, like most comic book movies, it is a silly premise, and unlike most of the best of them, it leans into this rather than trying to fight it. It's helped massively by Jason Momoa being such a likeable, charismatic son of a gun, and he's rapidly becoming the best hope for Hollywood action cinema's survival after The Rock's hip goes or something. Of course, it's basically one big parade of CGI, which here is on the sliding scale between works really well and really doesn't. Most of it's used to create fantastic undersea worlds, like of which could not be realised before rent-a-wear was a thing, and this is all gravy, the unusual unreality of CG swinging back to being an advantage rather than a hindrance. Sadly, the pendulum swings the other way for a few scenes taking place on shore, and in a film that's half an hour too long, there's one particular Italian village-destroying scene that could have been pruned out without anyone missing it. It's not enough to sink the film, ho ho ho, do you see what I did there? But in common with damn near everything that we speak of, there's a great, tight 90 or 100 minute or so film here just scraped out past 2 hours. Also, Black Manta's character design looks daft in a bad way on land, as opposed to some of the underwater army shenanigans towards the film's end, which I find to be daft in entirely the correct way.
It's got armoured megalodons.
Yes, they're pretty cool.
My God. It's
Megalodon.
Salmon's megalodon.
Overall, while there's nothing overall outstandingly great or dreadful in Aquaman, there's some fun dialogue, decent performances, and Momoa's presence and the unique visual stylings make this a pretty enjoyable slice of entertainment, and I like this as much as any of the other of the least dreadful Marvel or DC Universe films. Worth catching up with should this sort of thing be your bag, and I congratulate it for having the incredible twist of not having Willem Dafoe be a bad guy. I did not see that one coming.
And also it seems to have stoked the ire of James Cameron as well, which could only be a good thing.
It's not realistic.
No, they don't move right underwater.
I don't think it was the goal here, James. You might miss that.
A lot of this seems to have gone over your head, James.
I mean, to be fair,
I've spent thousands of hours underwater. Yeah, we know, James. We know.
But he knows what he's talking about in realism of movement and other things in fantasy worlds. I mean, he did, of course, create that wonderful fantasy world where every creature has a built-in USB port.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we to question James Cameron?
Yeah. What if their ponytail shagged? Aye, okay, James.
As a side note, I'm glad that Aquaman's the first DC film to cross the $1 billion mark, purely on the basis that we can now retire the DC films are doomed argument, which never made a lot of sense. I mean, Marvel films make more money, sure, but even when a film is irredeemably awful as Suicide Squad can take in $750 million, I don't think we need to worry about customer demand here. And now they seem to have worked out how to make a film without reshooting half of it and paying for cutting-edge moustache removal, so I suspect there's a Scrooge McDucky in future awaiting them for better or worse for the cinema landscape.
Well, in fairness, they just couldn't render realistically how a moustache would behave underwater, Scott. So they left it out entirely. Oh dear, James Cameron wasn't available for consultation that day. Bell end. Yeah, no, I haven't seen it, but it does look like a good deal of fun. The kind of stupid, trashy fun that DC movies probably ought to have shifted gear into some time ago. But like you say, I don't think, for all the sort of doom and gloom that people seem to have opinions of in relation to these things, it's the box office for pretty much all of those movies so far seems to suggest otherwise. So, yes.
Suicide Squad, of all things, $750 million.
Yes.
How?
Did that movie cost less than $300 million to make? Yes. Well, there you go then.
I like Jason Momoa, but it's the only thing that kind of appealed to me about the film. So I saw the trailer a few times, like, bunch of CGI stuff. It doesn't look very nice. I don't really want to watch it, but then it's like, but Jason Momoa's fun, so maybe I'll give it a go. So you've kind of persuaded me to give it a go, Scott, I guess.
To be honest, if you didn't like the style of the trailer, you probably won't get a great amount of joy from it, but Momoa's likeable enough that I don't think it'll be a complete misery to watch, so it's worth a go.
If I told my wife Jason Momoa was in this, there'd be no way I could avoid watching it. Much as there was no way to avoid A Star Is Born, which we'll talk about soon, but...
Jason Momoa, I think, probably for a lot of people, the first time they saw him is
Khal Drogo.
Khal Drogo in Game of Thrones, and largely being mute or speaking a language they didn't understand. The first time I can particularly remember coming across my radar was the terrible Conan the Barbarian remake. That I remember not a great deal more of than was literally painfully loud in the cinema. But haven't seen him in a few things since. I really like him. He's got a lot of charisma. He's got that kind of smirk he does, and it looks like he's having a lot of fun with these characters most of the time, but in a way that doesn't feel like it's kind of taking him out of the character. And so for Jason Momoa alone, I probably will give it a go.
Well, his best work to date has been that Instagram video, I think it was, he posted, didn't it, where I can't remember if it was while they were filming this, but where he demonstrates the fact that so long as his character is called upon to throw a hatchet at any point in the movie, they don't need to waste money on CGI, because Jason Momoa is terrifyingly good at throwing hatchets as it is.
That was more back...
was that Justice League or something?
Justice League time, I think. It was either it was again around about the time of Braven as well, so I don't know whether actually it was that, because he was actually using hatchets in Braven, so that would make a bit more sense. But
that would make sense. Man, what a guy.
He was actually probably the best thing about Justice League as well. Apart from obviously the incredible CGI on Henry Cavill's top lip, because I couldn't keep my eyes off of that.